Good morning. Do a lens check real quick. I think everything's pretty clear. Um, so over the last 24 hours, whenever I've had free time, I've been jumping online to figure out exactly what FairLife milk is and to try to make a little bit more sense of the situation at hand that's been going on with FairLife and ARM going um, behind the scenes to try to figure out, just what type of operation they run, and with them having the release footage of these people, hurting the animals and uh, beating them with branding irons and branding them extra long when they don't need to be branded. Um, I've done a lot of looking into the company itself and the CEO for Coca-Cola, Steve, the CEO and co-founder for Fairlife Milk, and the whole entire operation on how they've even come to be. What Fairlife Milk is they have a different filtering process that other manufacturers don't use. Fairlife milk offers twice the amount of protein that most milks do. It has more calcium than most milks do, and it has the least amount of sugar out of any milk that's on the market. And the reason that they've been successful in achieving that and not completely destroying the milk, even though it's an ultra filtered process, is because they use different types of filtering strainers to remove products from the milk that can be then turned into other products and used for food services throughout the world. They can separate minerals, fat, protein, water. Okay, so minerals, fat, protein, water, and calcium. Well, not calcium. There's one more. Oh, lactose. That's why it's reduced sugar. So with them being able to separate the minerals, the fat, the protein, the water, and the lactose, they're able to filter that milk out to where it has a reduced amount of sugar compared to everything else and not destroy the protein binding aspect of the product itself. A lot of times whenever you go out there to buy a weight loss drink or something after a workout or a marathon or whatever it is, you're buying a product that has been completely separated and then reintroduced back into itself, so its natural form has been destroyed. So going through the filtering process alone, it destroys the process. But now you're going to take it completely separate it and then reintroduce it back into the product itself. You may as well just go ahead and drink a glass of water and call it a protein shake, because that's basically what you're doing. They've figured out how to filter out the lactose from the milk itself and not destroy the product, not have to separate the protein and the fat from it and make the taste and stuff completely seem off. Now, with them being able to do that and no other manufacturer out there figuring that out, they have put themselves on the market early on and said, you know what, this is what I have to offer. Coca-Cola, are you going to partake in this or not? I was watching a comedian's channel that posted an old carton of milk before they became Fairlife, and he said they used to call it Mootopia, and it was a professional container, Mootopia, and they wanted to come on board with Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola saw early on that they were worth investing in. They saw early on that Fairlife had a product out that nobody else would have been able to produce. They've obviously patented technology of this filtering process that nobody else would have been able to, utilize. And with it having more calcium and more protein per serving, and them having this technology that other people don't use, it would be good for Coca-Cola to jump on board with them. Now, they could have either decided to say, at this point, I don't want anything to do with you. I want to continue building my brand on my own and putting money into the company and building the equity of the company by itself in the long run and having it a standalone company worth so much money. In the long run, that would have been worth something, because then you're not paying people, you're not having to partner up with people, you're doing your own thing, but it takes a long time to do that. So the short term effects are not good. Long term effects are great. Now, having a company like Coca-Cola that has so many hundreds, if not thousands, of routes and venues of liquid marketing and getting products on the shelves at the stores because of how large they are, They see, wait a second, I can climb the ladder very fast right now with a small investment or very large investment. I don't know the investment part of the scale when Coca-Cola became involved with Fairlife. And I can let them come in right now and build me up, and I can get my product on the shelves all over the place and start to take off and invest that money back into the company and make it better than what I would have been, 3, 4, 5 years from now. But at the same time, I'm partnered up with somebody right now, and now I'm having to do what they say, and it's not going to be just what I want calling the shots. So they decided to go ahead and climb the ladder, and partner up with Coca-Cola and just take that investment money and make the product even better and more go for the short-term gains than the long-term. And it was a good fit. Now, listening to the lady, the co-founder of it, the man's wife that created Fairlife, I don't think that they're crooked people. I don't think that's even in their heart. I mean, they have many kids, many family members, and stuff like that. The more I'm looking into this, the more I see what they do for the community, how they offer the schools and stuff to come into their facility, how they run their operation in general. I don't think this was an intentional thing or even a. I think it's just simply they're getting so large that they don't know what's going on inside the company themselves. They can't keep track of everything. And employees, I've been in workplaces where employees just are really, really disgruntled people in general, and they take their anger out on other people or on customers' cars or whatever it may be. And it's sad. The company doesn't know what's going on. They don't want the employee doing that. No, it doesn't mean that it's right, but sometimes they don't have control of that. And when you've got a company like ARM doing an internal investigation on Fairlife Milk, and you have employees that are abusing drugs and abusing animals and stuff like that, I'm sure in the company policy, whenever they hire somebody, they don't say, we want you to go throw the calves 20 feet in the air up over a cow train or something like that to land in the trailer and break its neck or something. I'm sure they don't want them beating the animals with branding irons and stuff. So, in retrospect to the video I put out initially, show or educating people or telling people about what was produced by ARM, I have to show the rebuttal to that as well. ARM is a company that promotes animal welfare and advocacy, right? They don't want animals mistreated. So, regardless if it's the company's fault or not, it's going to be labeled as internal investigation, internal this, internal that, or we found Coca-Cola and Fair Oaks with this, because obviously there are multiple points here. They want to increase their subscriber rating on YouTube. They don't have that many subscribers. They want to be well known. The the guy that founded ARM is like out of Florida or something like that. I think he's some kind of like, I don't know if he's a mortgage. He's not a mortgage broker. He's a property broker or property something or whatever. I mean, the guy's not even that big. He's not well known for anything. And normally people that have agendas like this are either super, super, super heavy into animal welfare, um, and that's just their mission in life, or they're people that are not known for anything and they know animal welfare sells, so they start a company and they try to make a big deal out of very small situations, even though it's very harmful to the community and stuff in Indiana in general. And they try to make it seem like it's bigger than what it is. Yes, hurting animals is definitely one of the worst things that you can do. And seeing what you've seen in that video was terrible. But I think a lot of people looking at the bigger picture here and saying this is Fair Oaks, this is Fair Oaks. No, it's not. And the more I look into this, the more I realize the people that actually founded and run the company, they're very good, family-oriented people. They don't want their cattle being hurt. They don't want the calves being hurt. It's just such a large operation, and they have so much going on with the museum and the little restaurant thing and the place where you can buy stuff and the operation itself and Coca-Cola having to they've got different sources of milk products that come from Fairlife, like Core, their protein supplement that you can buy at the grocery store or at the gas stations and stuff like that. Plus other products being made from them, different varieties, chocolate, skim, whole milk, 2%. So they're having to go through this whole manufacturing process on top of hiring all these employees. And again, I'm not advocating that it's not their fault and it's a terrible thing. But I think from what I'm hearing from people in general, trashing the company because of 4 employees or 5 employees' mistakes over the last 3 months and the constant endangerment of animals and abuse of animals, I think what they've done is appropriate. They've come in, they've fired the people and stuff, they've got rid of the contractor and stuff that was involved with a lot of this, and they've made the move forward. Now what I would do as the owner of the company is I would shut it down for a few days, suck it up. You're going to lose a ton of money. Shut it down for a few days, bring everybody in, go through a process of retraining. Everything's got to go back to the drawing board. Every single employee, retrain, safety, maybe put a couple more supervisors in place to actually monitor the process and what's going on to make sure the animals are getting taken care of okay. And then keeping track of every single animal in every single stall and the condition that they're living in and making sure that they're not having to go through that would be the appropriate retraining process to me. But um the more I look into this, the more I realize that it's not necessarily Fair Oaks Farm itself. It was just basically crap employees that they hired, that ARM was able to cherry pick enough of the stuff going on in the operation and show exactly what bad stuff was going on based on a few ignorant employees that, you know, maybe they're being worked 16 hours and the management is not involved in their lives enough to know that they have families and stuff as well. That pulling these 14, 15, 16-hour shifts is not okay. Um, I just think that in general, a lot of people like to point the finger whenever it comes to adversity and tragedy. They want to blame somebody for something, but they don't entirely know the situation. And the more I look into it now, the more I realize that there are a lot of people that don't know the situation with Coca-Cola and Fair Oaks. And it's not necessarily the company itself, it's the fact that they just could not see everything that was going on in every waking moment of the day, and that ARM, they like to get in behind the scenes when it comes to animals and cherry pick that kind of stuff and make it seem like it's bigger than what it is. It's terrible, but now the thing to do is to address it and fix it and recoup and move on from there. So that's my thoughts on that. And then looking into the company a little bit more, that's basically what Fairlife milk is. It's a healthier version of a ultra filtered milk, and the reason it's ultra filtered is because they can filter it through multiple times to remove certain things without destroying the product, whereas other people can't do that. Um, if we look at plant milk sales in 2004, you'll see that there was like 897.8.7 something like that $1 million in milk plant sales or plant milk sales. But if you look at as far as 10 years later, 2014, I've seen some statistics that say $1.87 billion in plant milk sales. So over the last 15 years, plant milk sales have been substantially increasing because people are thinking, sorry, it was my morning alarm. People are thinking that plant milk is going to be healthier for them. And that's only subjective to the person that's actually drinking the milk. A lot of people have lactose problems because they don't produce enough lactase enzyme to actually break down the lactose. And when you drink a product like Fairlife milk, they have a filtering process that removes most of the sugar, the lactose from the milk. So it's not as effective on those people. It's easier on their digestive tract and stuff like that. Plus, a lot of plant milk in general has very, very low amounts of calcium. It doesn't have almost any vitamins or anything in it. But people think in general, because of how it's being promoted, the fancy labeling of the cartons, the cashew milks, the soy milks, the stuff, all these different almond milk, silk this and that. They think that they're getting a product that's going to be super healthy for them. They're just getting flavored water. I mean, it's what it comes down to. They're getting flavored water, and this is supposed to be a healthy product. It's in the eye of the beholder. It's what do you want out of the milk that you drink. A lot of people swear by almond milk and soy milk and cashew milk and all this other stuff. It's a bunch of rubbish. You're trying to take something in its natural state and you're trying to make it into something that it's not. Um, I just wanted to recap the whole Fair Oaks Coca-Cola thing and bring to light a little bit more on what I feel like the owners of the company are like in general. They seem like very family-oriented people. They seem like very caring people. They have multiple children, and they're constantly allowing the schools and stuff through the facility. They're constantly allowing people to come by and look at everything that's going on, which leads me into seeing things from a different perspective. It's very hard to believe that what ARM showed is how the facility operates. The more I look at it, the more I think about the situation, the more I think about the people that run the operation, the people that have lived locally next to those people forever, and have been involved with their family and stuff like that, which some of those people have commented on my video from yesterday. It makes me believe in general that that was a cherry picked behind the stage or whatever investigation on ARM, and yeah, there were some people that were doing some bad things that need to be addressed, but those people that were abusing the animals and doing what they were doing should not let people's like overall view of Fair Oaks and the product that they put out be affected because they are addressing the situation. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I think something needs to be done. I think it's very wrong that it needs to be done, and I think when you start getting, when you start getting very large like them, you need to be more involved in your employees' lives so you know what's going on. They need to not be working 14, 15, 16-hour shifts to where they have to do cocaine and smoke pot and everything else because they hurt so bad or whatever it is. You need to be involved in their life so you can figure out, is something affecting you at home or at work to where now you're starting to treat the animals differently. Well, then we have a problem. We have to address that, and then we should do that accordingly. So in that aspect, I think that Fair Oaks needs to do better. I feel like they need to be more involved in the employee's life when it comes down to that, and there's no excuse as to why you can't. Then you hire supervisory or management that can do it. That's why you make the money that you make. You just suck it up, you shut your mouth, and you just do it because that's what's going to take to make the product right, the facility right, and the people happy. Then that's what you got to do. You got to make sure people are taken care of so they're not doing stupid stuff like this. And if you got employees that are involved, they get caught very faster, or they get caught faster with the right supervisory and management positions. Um, thank you. To make things legit and run efficiently. So, um, I think I think what we need to do is we need to look at the situation from a whole. Let's recap this video. Let's recap the last 18 and a half minutes of this video. Um, we're going to take the situation, ARM sending some employees in behind the scenes to see what's going on, getting hired. I think that in general, that's kind of a snaky thing to do. But at the same time, I think it's a fair thing to do because we wouldn't know what's going on if that didn't happen. Number two, the employees were fired. They were removed from the facility and they no longer work there. That's great. That was an appropriate action to take. Number three, the CEO from Coca-Cola came forward and the CEO from Fair Oaks came forward and said, look, we're not okay with this happening and we're devastated by it, and we take 100% blame and responsibility for what happened. That we do admit this was done in our facility. We did not know about it, and this is going to be addressed immediately. Number four, there are a lot of local people that are there constantly, their whole life. They exclusively buy their products from Fair Oaks since they were little children. Their cheese, their milk, whatever it may be, they really, really feel comfortable with that facility. and they're very open for people to come look at their facility and see how things work. So if I was to take everything that I did in the last year, you could follow me for a year or for the last 6 months, and you could cherry pick the bad things, my outbreaks, my moments where I've been ticked off, the moments where I've said something stupid, and you could probably make a 10-minute video on why I'm a terrible person. You could probably make a 10-minute video why I'm angry at animals or something like that whenever my dog has decided that she wants to have one of her outbreak moments and rip up something that's in the trash, and I'm standing in the doorway saying, you know what, that's bad, you don't do stuff like that. It's and me getting in her face and letting her know that, hey, that's not correct. Not putting my hands on her, but letting her know you could make a video about how I'm a terrible person and how I'm not sensitive to animal feelings and stuff like that. So any company can go in anybody's life at any point in time and cherry pick stuff. What was done was wrong. But let's face it here. In a lot of these farming operations, we don't have just everyday Joe Schmo that wants to go step up and take care of that job. We don't have the everyday Joe that wants to go walk through a pile of crap every single day and shovel all that stuff up and clean up behind these animals. So the guys that do come in, that do this stuff, may not be the very best for the situation. Some of these guys that do this stuff may not be from this country. Some of the people that do this job may not necessarily be people that have rights to work or driver's licenses and things like this. Some of the people that do this work may not be your average everyday Joe. So we need to look at the situation as a whole. Instead of pointing the finger, say, look, let's wait a second. Let's back off for a second here. Let's let these people look into this a little bit more and figure out what's going on. Maybe my vetting process is off. Maybe I need to actually start looking at people that have better experience doing this, paying a little bit more money and getting a better quality person in here rather than Billy Bob from down the road that's never held a consistent job at a local dairy or farm his whole entire life, but has been bouncing around from job to job to job to job, or some illegal guy that has come here that doesn't have proper documentation but is just trying to look to get by to make some extra cash so he can take care of his family back in Mexico or wherever he's from, and he barely has the experience doing this. The next thing you know, he's tossing animals around like they're rag dolls and doesn't give a crap in the world because, maybe where they're from, that's how they do that kind of stuff. You need to look at the whole entire situation as a whole and give them a chance to figure out what's going on, give them a chance to rectify the situation and see that it probably is not what we think it is. This was a bunch of cherry-picked events over the last 3 to 4 months that are put in front of the camera to make you think that Fair Oaks is a terrible product or they're a terrible company. They abuse animals and stuff like that. No, there were a few employees that abused animals. It was not Fair Oaks that abused animals. I'm sure management's not standing there. I picture a management dude up top here, just peering down on people saying, "Yeah, beat that cow, beat that cow, beat that cow, beat that cow." That doesn't happen that way. That's not what they're doing. They didn't know what was going on. I could almost guarantee it. And now that they know what's going on, I guarantee you, with the amount of people that come through there and the schools and stuff that come through there, and everything that they offer the community and their little museum and stuff like that, the little dairy, I don't know if it's like a restaurant or a store or something that they have, that won't be going on anymore. They have too much to lose. So this is just my thoughts, my recap. I've watched like 6 different videos with the CEO from Coca-Cola and from Fair Oaks. So I'm trying to do a little bit of research and do a little bit of the groundwork for you to kind of let you know where they've come from, what their product is, why it seems to be better than other milks that are on the market, and just my thoughts in general on this whole thing. And I apologize for rambling on for almost 25 minutes right now, but I had to get my thoughts out of my head this morning because I'm heading to work and I'm going to be moving the next couple of days, and I won't be able to get on here as much or even talk. I don't even know if I'll get on here over the next couple of days, but that's it. That's my story. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and edit that part out too as well. Beat the cows, beat the cows. Everybody just beat the cows. No, it's not. It's not what's going on with them. And the more I look into it, I just think that ARM cherry picked that. They wanted it to make. Yeah, I'm sure they could have taken that video and went straight to the CEO of the company and said, "Look, this is what's going on right now. You've got 30 days to investigate this, or you got 2 weeks to investigate this, fix the problem, or I'm going to turn this over socially." They didn't have to do what they did, but the fact of the matter. Good morning, Nona. The fact of the matter is, they did what they did. So maybe it's good. You know, who knows? Let's see what comes of it, and I'll keep you guys updated. I've looked this morning to see if anybody else is doing videos on this, and there really isn't anybody else doing videos on this, so I thought I'd keep it covered. If you guys want me to keep doing stuff like this to stay on top of it, I will. If not, just let me know that you don't really care, and I'll just not even waste the time to do it. But if you appreciate these kind of videos and my thoughts and stuff like that, leave me some comments below. If you find value in this video, share it with somebody. And if you want to add anything to it that I have missed or that I was wrong about, or that you want to just leave me a comment that you really don't like me, that's okay too. Somebody the other day posted a comment about how, I want to address this real quick too, about how how people should stop drinking milk and eating animal products, and things like this wouldn't happen because it's not as healthy for you. That comment alone is wrong. What may be healthy for you is not healthy for everybody else. Your bioavailability of what you need in your body may be completely different of what I need. Animal vitamins and minerals are bioavailable immediately. You can eat them, and your body can start using them as nutrient density almost instantly. Plant matter doesn't work that way. Plant matter has to be broke down and converted, and different enzymes and stuff involved. And then by the time you actually get an active form of whatever vitamin is being converted and broken down into, it's probably not even, we just talked about this earlier in the video, when you have to filter and break down, remove, and add to so many times, the end product is not as good. So I would rather have a bioavailable form of nutrient density coming from an animal product, of a clean source obviously, than a bunch of plant matter that has high oxalates and anti-nutrients in it that are not necessarily that great for the body to begin with. Craig Emmerich and Maria Emmerich are coming out with a book soon that talk about the oxalates and anti-nutrients in plants, and it's going to be kind of a shocker because you guys see those people as some of the top figures in the ketogenic world. Now all of a sudden they're talking about the very plants that they promoted at one time. So this should be interesting to see how all that plays out as well. Anyhow, so I do not agree with what she said. Well, you can reduce this harmfulness of the treatment of animals by going vegan or eating just plants. That's not going to save. That's not going to do that. It's not healthier for people. You're not going to reduce anything by doing that. And you know, in the aspect of health in general, I don't even support that. So that's just my thoughts on that. I'm going to go to work. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Again, if you like these videos, say something about it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, because it does help my video move. Because in the last 20 hours, I think the video I originally did has been viewed almost 2,000 times, and I went on there this morning to see if anybody else has covered it, and I had found nothing else in the search engine other than from ARM themselves. So good job helping get this video out there, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.